his shenanigans are cruel and tragic.
Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really.
Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hey, Farva, what's the name of that restaurant you like with all the goofy shit on the walls and the mozzarella sticks?
You mean Shenanigans?
Oh!
You're talking about Shenanigans, right?
Put those away!
William, move your head. Look at the size of that boy's head. Shh. I'm not kidding, it's like an orange on a toothpick.
You're gonna give the boy a complex.
Well, that's a huge noggin. It's a virtual planetoid. Has its own weather system. Heat, move!
Yo, 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 welcome to Remind Rewind. I'm so happy that you're joining me. I'm happy to have you back. If you've listened before, I'm happy to have you as a first-time listener, if that's the case. If so, and you are a first-time listener, on this podcast, we rewatch, or I rewatch, all my favorite movies, some old and some new ones, maybe that I might have missed along the way. I haven't done a new one yet, but mostly been just talking about one of my favorite ones from the past. And we'll talk about what I remember from seeing them back in the day, cool facts, how I feel about the movie. Excuse me. And then we also talk about physical media. If you don't know what physical media is, that is a VHS tape, a DVD, a Blu-ray, a Laserdisc, any sort of vinyl record, a CD, a cassette tape, any physical media, movies or music that you can collect, that you can have, that you can hold on to. I am staring at all of mine right now, and it is just like, whoa, it's just so cool, you know? It's so cool to have it all out. I kind of did a little rearranging so I could see some stuff better. Anyways, we'll get to that later. I'll also have on special guests to talk about movies with me and maybe how they made them feel. If you haven't already, go listen to episode 2. I have on my good friend Renee Floyd. It's a great one. And tonight, on this episode, episode 9, we will be talking about another one of my favorite movies, one of my all-time favorites. We'll be talking about the movie and the guys who made it. Buckle up, because we are talking about Broken Lizard's Super Troopers. But before we get into the movie, if you have any requests, questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that, feel free to, you can get a hold of me on any of the social medias. I do have a specific account for this podcast, Remind Rewind. It is Remind Rewind Podcast on Instagram, or at Remind Rewind Podcast. You can also email me at remindrewindpod@gmail.com. And if you haven't already, please follow, subscribe, rate, comment, anything that will help this podcast. It will mean the world to me. And I can try to get out there a little bit more. Try to get lots of people to listen. I hope to add like a visual component to this eventually. Haven't gotten there yet. Can barely get my stuff together to just do this regular. School has started back. We are back. We are in full swing. I substituted 3 days this week, and then my kids are sick today. You know how it goes. The stuff's out there. They're around all these new kids, so they're just passing it around. And I'm back working. I subbed middle school and high school, and I subbed elementary one day. That was a wild time. But, middle school's all right, and high school's pretty cool. Those kids are pretty chill. But it's funny seeing, how I substitute some ninth graders, and it's funny how they kind of like, they're trying to be cool or how they interact or whatever. It's different from how our in junior high, it's like, it's not as like exaggerated and like physical. It's more of like just them trying to like do a little, quip at each other, a little like, something funny or whatever. That's probably not appropriate for me to say on the podcast. But let's get back to the movie. So I don't know, I was talking about this before. I hooked up the VCR to my new bigger TV, and I've got the sound hooked up, so we will be watching the movie along. And one of the first scenes, this first scene is really, really hilarious. It's the stoners in the car.
What if there's a naked girl on the car? That girl's not yours. You don't own the girl.
What if she breaks her foot on your property?
She could sue me. Sue me. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Holy shit. Ditch it, man. Ditch it. Can you eat it? The whole bag? Fuck it.
He's just like monstering down
Mike,
psilocybin mushrooms.
while you're at it,
Those are shrooms, dude. Come on, man. Just eat
Oh,
it.
he ate the weed. Now he's got shrooms. They don't want to get pulled over. These kids are so hilarious.
Mike, I hate to ask, but
Can't eat that.
for the team?
No, go out the window.
Okay. All right, I'm doing a drop.
Such a funny way to start out the movie. Because it's kind of, a lot of the scenes in this movie. We'll let them talk for. I'll talk for a minute. When they actually pull him over, it's pretty incredible. A lot of these interactions and a lot of the scenes are just them pulling up on different, I guess, traffic violators and pulling them over, and the interactions that they have. So it makes total sense that they start out the movie, with them pulling someone over, but the idea of it just being these like stoner kids that have like so much drugs and stuff, and
Like $100 worth of pot and like $30 worth of shrooms, man. Who's the man? So I'm gonna need that $130. Whenever you get a chance.
Fuck, man.
That's not really cool, man.
what?
Is that the same car, man? Do I look high?
Yeah.
Ramathorn.
Here they come.
Lick on it. Just lick it or something. All right.
Be cool.
License and registration.
Officer, I know that,
License and registration, please.
His voice that you're hearing, that's Jay. He's the director also of this film.
You know how fast you were going?
What?
How fast you were going.
65.
63.
Officer, isn't the speed limit 65?
Yeah, it is. Where are you boys headed?
Canada? We're going over the border to Canada for some french fries and gravy, sir.
Poutine.
Canada, huh?
Almost made it. So this scene, sorry, I wanted to play part of that. We haven't even really started talking about it. You guys are probably like, "What the hell is going on?" That scene right there is in a preview, a trailer for the movie, and I'll just say first, Super Troopers, the movie we're going to be talking about, is an American comedy film. I call it a stoner film. It's directed by Jay Chandler. I don't know, his last name is crazy, but he plays Ramathorn in the movie with the mustache, and he also directs the movie. And then it was written by and starring, they call themselves the Broken Lizard Comedy Group. It's going to be the what is it? 5 cops that are in this movie, or sorry, the 5 Vermont State Troopers. And this little trailer will give you a taste of kind of what's going on. So here we go. Let's listen in here.
You know how fast you were going?
65.
63.
In this town,
Isn't the speed limit 65?
you don't mess with the law.
Yeah, it is.
I'm freaking out, man.
Don't spit in that cop's burger.
It look like spit to you? Yeah.
The law messes with you. Super Troopers.
They're coming back, man!
Pull the vehicle over.
I'm already pulled over!
He's already pulled over. He can't pull over any farther.
Coming soon to DVD. So tonight we were watching it on VHS, but obviously it's a DVD. I'm sure they have a Blu-ray of it. And another little clip that you hear a tiny piece of that, in case you didn't know, the movie we're talking about tonight, Super Troopers, the very first clip that you hear at the beginning of every show is some of my music, and then behind that is a sound clip from this movie tonight, Super Troopers. And then the one after that, in case you don't know, is from So I Married an Axe Murderer. Great scene, great, hilarious movie. One of those ones that's a little bit harder to find. I don't know. They didn't do I don't know if they've put that back out, with the film transfer and all that stuff. But tonight, with Super Troopers, this is one of my favorite movies. It's definitely like one of those comfort movies, that I can just put on and laugh at because I've seen it 100 times. I loved it when I first watched it. I had it in my original collection of VHS, and then I probably had it on DVD. Those are long gone, but I do have it on VHS again now. It was one of the movies that I watched repeatedly and I guess listened to. And so I just know everything they say. There's also I also remember watching it and listening to it so many times that I would always fall asleep at a certain part. So I've definitely seen the first 3/4 of the movie probably hundreds of times or whatever. Definitely 100 times. It is just a feel good comedy joyride. So these guys that star in the movie, they've also made a couple of other movies. You've probably seen them. What I have right now is Club Dread. I have that on a beautiful white video VHS tape, and it's got black printing on it. Really cool piece to have. And then another one of my favorite movies ever that we'll probably talk about on another show is Beer Fest. They also made that movie and they all star in it. They wrote it. The director of that one is who directs this one? Oh, Jay directs Beer Fest 2. He directs Beer Fest. He directs Super Troopers, and he directs Super Troopers 2. I don't have that. I picked up recently their first movie. It's called Broken Lizard's Puddle Cruiser. And they're all really young in it, and they're in college. Jay directs that one too. I wasn't a huge fan. I watched it just because I love all these dudes and I love their movies. But there were bits that were really funny, but overall it was just all right. I'm glad to have it in the collection for sure. And then they also did Slam and Salmon. So yeah, Club Dread, Beer Fest, the Puddle Cruiser was their first one, Slam and Salmon, Super Troopers and Super Troopers 2. And then all of them but Jay, or wait, no, not all of them but Jay. Two of them, Steve Lemke and Kevin Heffernan. Yeah, Kevin Heffernan and Steve Lemmy, I'm sorry. They are both on a television show called Tacoma FD, if you've ever seen that. another really funny show. They're firefighters instead of state troopers, but it's worth the watch. It's on Netflix. You can watch on there. And Super Troopers is probably like on one of the streaming services. I don't know right now. I can look it up, but so the guys, the police officer I'm talking about, the main guys in the movie. Wait, here we go. First, I'll read the back of the VHS, a little synopsis of the movie. Stoned teenagers, nutty cops, topless chicks, and car chases perpetuate huge laughs in this outrageous comedy that's so funny it should be illegal. Haha. Captain O'Hagan, played by Brian Cox, famous actor, tries in vain to control the imaginations and hormones of his bubbling team of 5 Vermont highway patrolmen. But when the opportunity to solve a real crime rolls their way, the formerly inept Super Troopers pounce into action to become highway heroes. So the basic premise of the movie is these guys are just screwing around, doing a bunch of, stuff, kind of competing with this other police department, the Shackleberry Police. Here's when you first see them in the movie.
Chinchilla! I don't get it. Tacos?
They think I'm Mexican.
You're not Mexican?
Another highway cop? What are you guys, multiplying?
Yeah, if they can figure out which hole to stick it in. Oh, what the fuck? Hey, I saw that.
Sit down, Rando.
We're all hopped up on maple syrup. So, basically, here's Brian Cox.
Man, now you fucking started it.
I'm sorry, Bruce. These boys get that syrup in them. They get a little antsy and they're pantsy. They just can't keep them under control.
You should keep these dogs on a leash, John. Go.
A#1 Top Gun cadets in the name of justice.
So, they're kind of butting heads in this whole movie with the police department that kind of is right on their territory. They're the state troopers, and then the department. They're butting heads. They want the good cases, and so most of the movie is them just fucking around, like these funny jokes that they play on different people that they pull over, and then they kind of by chance discover this like drug ring that's happening, and they figure out that it has to do with the police department. So there is kind of like a little love story kind of part to it or whatever, where one of the guys over here, Paul, what's his name, Soder? Yeah, he plays Carl Foster. They just call him Foster. He kind of falls for Officer Ursula Hanson, who is basically like an underappreciated dispatcher. She gets stuck on the radio for the Spurbury Police Department, and they kind of have a little fling, and that's how they also kind of find these drugs and stuff, and they're able to kind of figure it out. And it turns out after them joking around, they're not such bad cops, because they kind of discover this drug ring. Here we go. So it's basically just these guys, and they're since they've known each other and they've done comedy together, like in real life for such a long time, the Broken Lizard Comedy Group, like their interactions are just like so genuine, and it feels like they're not like overacting. Here's a little cameo.
Starting right now.
In one of the games they play. cat game.
Sorry about that.
All right, Meow. Hand over your license and registration. Your registration? Hurry up, Meow. Sorry.
He's trying to see how many times he can say meow.
There's something funny here, boy?
No.
Well, then why are you laughing, Mr. Larry Johnson? All right, Meow, where were we?
I'm sorry, are you saying meow?
Am I saying meow?
I thought you...
Don't think, boy. Meow, do you know how fast you were going? Meow, what is so damn funny?
I could have swore you said meow.
Do I look like a cat to you, boy? Am I jumping around all nimbly-bimbly from tree to tree?
No.
Am I drinking milk from a saucer?
No.
Well, do you see me eating mice? Hey, you stop laughing right now.
Yes.
Meow, I'm gonna have to give you a ticket on this.
But...
No buts, Meow. That's the law. Not so funny, Meow, is it?
Uh-oh, one more.
Meow.
So hilarious. All right, this little scene between these two is classic.
Thanks for washing my car,
Rook.
You know what this is? A chamois cloth. Lucky guess. I just lost $1.
To myself.
To myself. Think that's funny, do you?
Yeah, I do. I heard something funny about how you got suspended. Something about a school bus full of kids.
Oh, you heard that, did you? Let me tell you another funny story, New Jack.
This is
Back
classic.
in '74, the great Charlie Rich was named Country Musician of the Year.
Then in '75, he had to hand the award off to the new winner.
And you know who that was?
Mr.
Sunshine on my goddamn shoulders, John Denver.
Really? Can you believe it?
Wow.
Replaced by John fucking Denver.
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'll be damaged if Mr. Rich didn't pull out his cigarette lighter right there and light that award on fire in front of everyone. You get it?
So you're saying can you set my country music award on fire?
I'm saying when my suspension's up, you better watch your ass.
Or you light my ass on fire.
So the story is he kind of I just found this out. Charlie Rich doesn't set the award on fire. He sets the little paper that he, I guess, went up to read, like the certificate or whatever that says that he won the award on fire, which makes more sense, but it's still just a classic scene with Farva and the rookie that they call Rabbit. And if you haven't seen this movie, I would highly suggest watching it. It is very funny. It is definitely like a late night stoner kind of movie. There's drug talk and use. There's some boobs. There's some man ass and kind of like, I guess, wiener. But it's just a classic, freaking hilarious comedy. And anything that these Broken Lizard guys touch, I just love. So, all right, we were talking about Rabbit, the rookie, and then you got Mac, who you heard laughing in the cat scene. He's also he's Steve Lemmy. He's the one that's on the Tacoma FD. You heard Farva talking to Rabbit, and then Jay's character is he's the lieutenant. I guess he's supposed to be kind of in charge of these guys. They call him Thorny Ramathorn. So they call him Thorny or Ramathorn or Car Ramrod. if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And so yeah, he's second in command, and then the captain, John O'Hagan, is Brian Cox's character that you heard. And then we got the Spurbury Police and Officer Ursula, who we'll get introduced to in the movie here in just a few minutes. Like I said before, I loved this movie. I'm pretty sure I saw it in the theater. My memory of what I saw in the theater and what I didn't isn't always that great. But I did used to go to the theater a lot, especially when I was younger. We had a dollar movie theater in Irving, and we would go there a lot because it was would have been, me and either my mom or my dad and then my two sisters that, you were having to pay for to go to the movie, and then we wanted popcorn or candy or whatever. So that was always cool. We snuck in candy and popcorn too. Like, fuck it, it doesn't matter, whatever. I remember doing that like every time almost. But yeah, so then it was just $4 for us all to go to the movie, and I know I probably saw it there. That dollar movie, it was called Starplex. It was a 10-screen movie theater in Irving. I guess you could call it East Irving, just off 183 where the Walmart has been like forever and ever. It was right behind that. And that was also when I skipped school for the first time, which would have been like in junior high. Whoops. One of the things that we did, me and my buddy Chris, we went to the dollar movie because we were like, shit, like, where are we going to hide out? Like, if we go to the mall right now, they're going to be like, why aren't you in school? Because that's kind of how it was, like, in the 90s or whatever. There wasn't just kids, like, walking around like you might see now. Someone was going to ask you, like, hey, what are y'all doing? Plus, we look like little skater, like, troublesome kids or whatever, so they definitely would have been like, hey, why aren't you in school? So we're like, shit, we'll go hide out in the dollar movie theater. And I think it was either Toy Story or Toy Story 2 was one of the movies that we were playing, that was playing at the time, that we were going to go like hide out there for a little while, like before we went to the mall or whatever, because we always went to the mall. And they had a movie theater at the mall too that I saw tons of movies at. They had one at the Irving Mall. Originally where I guess the Barnes & Nobles might be now, or where the Barnes & Nobles was. And then they built the AMC there that I saw tons and tons of movies. The AMC at the Irving Mall, me and my buddy Marcus went. We probably went every Tuesday for like 6 months because on Tuesdays it was $5 and you got like a popcorn, for free. And it was like the movies that had come out the week before. So we would never go, like, for the longest time, we didn't go see a movie on Friday night unless it was like a big deal. We would just wait because we knew we could see it for $5 on Tuesday. And then on top of that, they had, I want to say they were like $1 shiners at Applebee's for happy hour before. So we would go over there and drink 5 shiners for $5 or whatever, and then go to the movie for $5, and we'd be good to go for, spend $10 and take care of everything. And we would always sneak like beers or whatever into the movie. We didn't always sneak beers, but like if we didn't go to Applebee's, we might sneak a beer or two in. And then sometimes if the movie's timed up right, on that $5 movie trip, we'd see one and then we'd go into another movie and see another double Dutch or whatever you want to call it, which was always cool. Some of the movies I remember seeing back then was probably Austin Powers 2. I know we saw that. Now there was a scary movie. I know I saw Blair Witch there a couple of times, but that wasn't one of the $5 movies. Man, I don't know. We saw so many movies. But I remember this one time we were up at the top, and there was like no one else in the theater. There wasn't that many other people. There was maybe like 2 couples and then like one person or whatever in a big theater, one of the bigger ones. Because it was a movie that had shown that Friday, I think. So it was still in like a bigger and not the smallest theater. So me and my buddy Marcus were up in the back, like that was one time that we had brought beers or whatever, and like we didn't always like get up and go trash the cans. We would kind of just put them beside us. Well, one of us accidentally knocked one over and it rolled like in the office where Michael has the bottle of wine and it like rolls up to the front. It like rolled all the way down, like to the bottom. And what we didn't know, the girls that were up there, like they heard us laughing and they heard me say something. And one of them goes, Jordan Klein. And I was like, oh shit, we're in trouble now. It ended up being my good friend Erica. It was hilarious. I hadn't seen her in a while. So, God, I remember being like, oh shit, dude. Obviously we were old enough to drink or whatever, but, it's not kosher to be like sneaking beers into the theater or whatever. This was 20 years ago. So, like, it doesn't, it was a little bit different back then. And maybe it's the same now. I don't know. I don't drink anymore, but I love, like, reminiscing on these just stupid ass things that we did on pretty regular basis. I would say probably. We weren't always like drunk, but there was usually some beers involved, especially like DJing at clubs and playing music at clubs and band practice, and just like when I lived in Fairmount, hanging out in the hood, working at the bar, like that stuff is always around when you're in your 20s and like you're living in like that environment. And I can't say like I wouldn't have drank back then, but it's fun for me to reminisce because I was lucky, and overall, there wasn't any major mishaps because of drinking. So I could say that I was fairly responsible, I guess. I don't know. That's probably not true, but I don't look back on it and like regret it really. I definitely and I don't like roll my eyes. It's definitely funny just to think back to, like I said, all the stupid stuff that we used to do. And then coming back to the Broken Lizard people, obviously they love like that whole bit too, because they made a whole movie about it called Beer Fest. Where again they're all in it, so they play different characters that are friends instead of being the troopers and being like a team of police or whatever. They are some beer drinkers that are great at drinking beer, just like I was, and they team up to dominate the beer fest, which is kind of like an Oktoberfest, festival that happens. Again, a totally quotable, absolutely knockdown, drag out, hilarious movie. All these guys, again, their vibes of like just how they've been interacting with each other for so long. It just comes like second nature to them. It seems so natural, and it just flows, and they're hilarious, and the bits that they come up with and the jokes and the little one-liners and stuff are like some of my favorite, like in all of comedy. As far as like movies go, these guys are second to none for sure. So the episode that I did before this, I went a little long. I kind of went crazy, and I feel like I'm going off the rails again this time. We're going to get back to what we were talking about. I'm not going to talk too much about the movie because, excuse me. It is just like a comedy, like stoner movie, so there isn't a whole lot of like deep intellectual, like, tools and ideas that are happening in it. It's really just a funny like movie. So like I've already said a couple times, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. And this movie, unlike all my other favorites, like the soundtrack isn't really it's mostly just music that was made for the movie, and it kind of sounds like rock music. There isn't really like a soundtrack of songs because this was one of their, it wasn't their first, I think it was their second movie So the budget on this movie was very small. The budget on this movie was only $3 million. But check this out. They made $23 million in the box office. So they turned $3 million bucks. They were able to go crazy after that. That's why Beer Fest happened, and then Club Dread happened, and then then Slam and Salmon happened, then Super Troopers 2 happened. Those all happened really rapid, that happened close to each other. That would have been in the early aughts. And then Super Troopers 2 didn't come out until it was after COVID, because I remember when they did some crowdfunding at first for Super Troopers 2, because I don't know, I guess they had spent all that other money by then. They had done a lot of things. They did some sort of something, or if you signed up early or whatever, you could buy merch or whatever. I remember they sent a digital copy of the script, I think, because I donated a certain amount of money. They sent my as well as being I don't know, they listed us somewhere, but they sent you a digital copy of the script. So I remember reading through it before I saw it. It's definitely not as funny as the first one, but it's really cool that they got to make a second one. I need to go back and rewatch it. I'll probably get that one on Blu-ray, and I would love to get Super Troopers on DVD or Blu-ray, because I know there's some special features. Because so I definitely had the Super Troopers DVD before, because I've watched this movie with the commentary at least one time, maybe more than once. And that is awesome, because it's most of them. It's not Brian Cox, but I want to say it's 3 or 4 out of the 5 guys, maybe all of them. And they really break down little funny behind the scenes stuff, in this scene this was happening, and then they're also just bantering the whole time, and I think one of them is drunk or something. So it's definitely worth a listen. If you have the DVD and you like this movie and you've seen it before, definitely go back and watch it with the commentary, because I remember it being really, really hilarious. So the way as far as this movie and the genre, there is a whole lot of other really cool movies, I guess, that you could consider. You could consider this a buddy cop movie, right? So I'm going to try out this new segment. I don't want to start talking about it too much, because the segment is called the 5-Minute Frenzy. And in this new segment, what I'm going to be doing is, I'm not going to be doing a top 5, because the top 5 is awesome. Kudos to Breakfast of Champions for doing a little top 5 movie, this and that. It's so hard for me to rank which one is number 1 or whatever. And so the way I'm going to play my top 5 list is I'm calling it 5-Minute Frenzy, and I have each. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 5 of my favorite movies from different genres, and I'm only going to talk about them for 5 minutes. So the genre that I'll be talking about tonight on 5-Minute Frenzy is buddy cop films. Okay, let me get my timer, and we will start now. So this is my new segment, 5-Minute Frenzy. This is trial, the number 1, first time. So buddy cop films. These have been around since, the dawn of man. I'm more of a fan of 80s, 90s, and maybe early 2000s movies. So here are my movies. We'll talk about them each one at a time for just, let me see. I'm going to have less than a minute for each one. All right. Lethal Weapon. I guess that would be my number 1, but we're not doing that. We're getting too old for this shit. Mel Gibson, classic buddy cop movie. Another classic, I guess you could say, because they just released a 4th one this summer, would be Bad Boys with Will Smith and, what's his name? Martin Lawrence. I loved that movie. I definitely saw that one in the theater back when Will Smith was doing it. Okay, honorable mention, Turner and Hooch. Love it. Tom Hanks and a dog. Classic buddy cop movie. Beverly Hills Cop. So Lethal Weapon and Beverly Hills Cop and Bad Boys. There's multiple movies. They each have like 3 or 4 or whatever. Beverly Hills Cop, Eddie Murphy, and what's his name? Oh my God, the guy from Night Court or whatever. His buddy. Classic movie. Awesome soundtrack. Since I'm always shouting out soundtracks, shout out to the soundtrack Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Ford, Axel F. Bum bum. Hopefully that's the right song. Love it. Definitely got the vinyl of that one. Oh, I need to pull that vinyl out, and I need to get a copy of that. Okay, so we'll make note of that. Good thing we talked about it. And then last but not least, Hot Fuzz. If you've never seen Hot Fuzz, definitely check it out. If you've seen Hot Fuzz, or if you don't know about it, it's the same 2 guys that star in Shaun of the Dead. They're in Hot Fuzz. They play cops instead of the buddies that have to deal with the zombies or whatever. I don't know the names of those 2 guys. Simon, I think, is one of their names. Absolutely and totally hilarious. Hot Fuzz is great. Shaun of the Dead is probably better. And then he does another one where he like runs in it. Definitely all these 5 that we listed are definitely classic buddy cop movies. If you've never seen Lethal Weapon, check it out. That is another like set I need to get on VHS. Bad Boys, Will Smith, Martin Lawrence doing their thing. Bad Boys, what you gonna do? Turner and Hooch I just picked up on VHS. I got it for not 25, but it would have been like 15 cents or whatever at my little spot. I got that in the stack of ones that I need to watch. I've seen it before, but it has been a long time. Beverly Hills Cop is another rewatch and something I got to pick up. Hot Fuzz I have on DVD. No, I think I have Shaun of the Dead on DVD. I need to pick that one up. I'll probably get that one on Blu-ray. But this has been the 5-Minute Frenzy, and those are the 5 buddy cop movies that you should definitely check out if you haven't. I'm sure you could like rent most of them from your library, which is what I've been doing recently. And I hope that next time we'll have another fun 5-Minute Frenzy. And I would say on this one, the first one, we finished up with a little bit of time left. So it was cool. I'm glad we did that. That's going to be a new little segment we're going to do, the 5-Minute Frenzy. And then another thing that we normally talk about, now that we're done with that, is the movie news. Not much movie news on my end as far as what's going on. I have a couple things to mention. I think it's... God. I want to say Lionsgate, but I'm not sure. Has a Walmart Steelbook collection of some horror movies. There's like 8 of them. Those are really cool. If you like horror movies and you like Steelbooks, check those out at Walmart right now. I want to say it's like Lionsgate, but they have a selection of some horror movies. I guess they're amping it up and getting ready for Halloween. The other movie news, in case you haven't heard, some sad news. Paramount they're like cutting. So you can look the story up and you can find it and read it. I don't have New York Times or LA Times or whatever, so I can't read the whole story, but there are some other articles out there that you can find, and then I got the gist of it from another podcast I listened to. But they're cutting like 15% of their like budget and doing like massive layoffs. I think they laid off 5,000 people or something like that. So that's going to be cuts like everywhere, including home entertainment and the physical media distribution or whatever, and like manufacturing. That's getting cut. Not the whole thing, but it's definitely taken a big... it's going to take a big cut. And then they're also cutting... I don't know if totally, but mostly they're like library and film archives. So like, I don't know what's happening. Like maybe someone will swoop in and buy them out, or they can, figure out how they can do this, and be able to afford it. But not good news as far as I'm concerned about Paramount. You can look more into it if you like. If you want to talk about it more, or if anything else that we've talked about you want to talk about more, don't forget you can always hit me up at rewindpod@gmail.com. And then the other thing I would mention real quick is I saw a couple of really cool previews for movies coming out. I still haven't been able to make it to see. I want to see Twisters in the theater. I want to see Long Legs, but I can wait and watch that later. I want to see Twister in the theater. Twisters. I haven't been out to see it yet, but I've heard it's really great. A couple previews that I saw this week that got me really excited. One that I just watched before I started the pod was for The Crow. It looks really cool, dark, messed up. The Crow was one of my neighbor, Chris, who I mentioned earlier, a good friend of mine. It was one of his favorite movies, and I remember him actually dressing up as the Crow on the last Halloween that we went trick-or-treating before we were too old. We were probably too old, and we didn't do a whole lot of trick-or-treating. We were doing mischief and whatnot with his cousins or something. Who knows? I was off in some neighborhood where I'm I don't even know where I am. This is where the good candy is. His cousin was a chick. She didn't talk like that. But we were smashing pumpkins and shit. Oh, God, what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, the previews, The Crow. So it looks really cool. FKA Twigs plays a female role in it. The dude, I don't know who it's played by, but he's ripped and looks crazy. The only thing that I'm kind of wondering about is how do they incorporate the little girl kind of character that he befriends, because in the preview I didn't really see that. I'm not sure if maybe they left that out and it's not part of it, or maybe it's just a smaller part of it, but you definitely don't see that in the preview, where pretty sure when the preview of the original one that stars old homeboy from Ghostbusters, there's a lot of interaction between him and this teenage girl, and I think in the City of Angels too. Speaking of soundtracks that rule, The Crow and The Crow City of Angels, both those soundtracks are fucking awesome. Saw a great preview for that. I also saw a really awesome preview this is gonna be a cool story hopefully later on. I'm sure it's still out there, but there's a new Francis Ford Coppola movie coming out called Megalopolis, I think is what it's called. It has there's so many actors that are famous that are every single actor is superstar, big time superstar actor. It looks absolutely phenomenal. Supposedly he's been working on it for a while. So I saw a preview for that Lionsgate actually pulled, because in the beginning of the preview, it shows reviews of his older movies, right? So it starts out saying 1978 or whatever, Apocalypse Now. And it shows all these bad reviews, and then The Godfather, how it was bad, and then something else and how it was bad, because all of his movies were so unappreciated when they first came out or misunderstood. And then it shows this brilliant, amazing looking, totally nuts film, which I've heard the reviews from people that saw it at Cannes. They said it's just huge, and the story and the visuals are just next level, so, and it's Francis Ford Coppola. So they were putting the reviews of how they were saying they were bad. This movie's bad. But supposedly not all of those. Some of those people were being kind of misquoted, or I guess they were quoting their quote in a different way. So they pulled that trailer because it people were fact checking it, and they were wait, no, that reviewer actually that movie reviewer she actually liked that, or Roger Ebert said it was good. So I'm gonna have to look out and see if there's another trailer. I did share that trailer from my Rewind Instagram. So maybe you saw it. Maybe it's still out there and they haven't pulled them all yet. I think I was watching it on the Letterboxd Instagram. But anywhere you watch movie previews, look that one up. Megalopolis. Tons of stars. Looks so amazing. And then our last little section we normally talk about is with the reselling. Reselling has amped back up. The summer slump is finally over. People are buying. I sold a VCR DVD or DVD VCR combo to a guy out in Arizona. Threw a couple tapes in there for him, a couple DVDs. Selling a bunch of DVDs. It looks like the DVDs move a little bit quicker than VHS does. I do have a pop-up that I'll be selling at in September. It's on September 21st. I'll have more details for you on that on the next episode. But I'll definitely be talking about that. It's going to be really cool. If you like some of the movies that I've talked about, I'm going to have a ton of VHS tapes there and some DVDs and some video games and just a bunch of crazy stuff. So definitely come check that out. Follow my Instagram if you aren't. I will be sharing it from that very soon. Or follow the Little Plank Vintage or the Little Plank Pop-Ups. That's my friend Erica I mentioned earlier. She's the one that hosts it. Follow her Instagram, and she has pop-ups like every month. I know there's another one coming up in October, and her vendors are super awesome, and the crowd that turns out is a really cool, interesting crowd. You know, like there is other like, you know, nerds and freaks and emo kids like out there, you know, people that are my age and then people that are younger too. It hasn't died. The scene is alive and well. So it's cool seeing that crowd, and it's going to be cool. I've never done a pop-up where I sell my wares. I've like DJ'd a pop-up, and I've, you know, done it with some other things. But it's going to be really interesting, you know, selling my stuff, and then going back the next day and deleting a bunch of stuff off eBay that I have listed or whatever. But eBay's been good. Mercari's been good. Mercari's where I sold the VCR, actually. Let me get a little sip real quick. And yeah, the reselling has been good. And then, like I said, I'm subbing, so everything's back in action. We're doing it. So again, if you have any movie requests, if you have any concerns, if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please email me at remindrewindpod@gmail.com. Or please follow me at Remind Rewind Podcast on Instagram. You know, I'm going to have a guest soon. I'm going to have my brother-in-law on. He is, his name is Andrew Worley. He's an actor. And he started a bunch of commercials and some TV shows, and he now is writing, and I guess you could say like producing and starring in some short films. He has a couple out already. We'll talk about one that he has out. We'll talk about one that he's working on in a competition that he's in. And what's really cool is I actually let them. It's an 80s time period that the film has to be based in. And they have a certain amount of time to film it and edit it and get it ready for this festival. And it's like an 80s thing. So he borrowed a bunch of my VHS tapes, vinyl, all this really cool stuff. So when it comes out, we'll have him on and we'll talk to him. And then I'll show you guys where you can watch it, and you can check out all my junk, all my some of my collection on screen. It's going to be really cool. I'm super excited about it. I'm glad that we were able to get together and work it out. And it's going to be really cool. Everything that he does is super awesome. I wish I knew what the link to his other movie was right now. I know that it's on YouTube, but we'll talk more about it when he's on. So I am going to have him on as a guest. That should be hopefully in the next couple of weeks. He's probably going to be busy working on that movie, but we'll definitely squeeze him in. And then, we'll have all our stuff that we talk about. And I'll have another great movie to talk about with you guys next week. So thank you so much for listening. And please follow, like, and subscribe. And I'm here every Friday. And, I'd love to hear from you. And I'll definitely be coming back. Rewind is not over with. I am doing the thing. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And that'll be it for now. My name is Jordan Klein, and this has been Remind Rewind.